even though there's this stereotype of, rugby players are lesbians,
Yeah.
it's still not talked about within female teams. Like, it's still, there might be a lesbian on your team who might feel uncomfortable talking about it, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems so bizarre, doesn't it?
Totally. And then there is the side, like, and again, it's probably a gay person might be like to me, well, live a day in my shoes and you'll understand why this is. But to me, it's like, why should you have to talk about it? Like, I don't talk about my straight, like, I wouldn't talk about it with everyone. Obviously, with my friends, I would. But like, then I think with rugby, people don't even feel the need to talk about it. Or do you mean talk about it as in if I had a problem or I was struggling with something?
You identify the problem, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's different. Like, what I meant was, like, I shouldn't see someone have to come up and be like...
No, talk about the problem, like, talk about the issue.
Yeah. Yes, okay, yeah.
So do you think it's a good opportunity to get that conversation? So, like, issues that no one ever talks about, like these, that we should do something about, it creates an opportunity for that to happen.
Yes, okay, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Totally, 100%, absolutely.
Why do you think that?
Because you know that support is there though. Like, by having these Pride days, like, I would feel it would help someone realise, as I said, like that. Oh, look, she's here. Obviously, she's comfortable with her sexuality and my sexuality as well. Like, at least I know I could talk to her. Like, and then, the way it, like, again, I can't talk for gay people, but in the sense that, like, if I have a problem and I tell someone, just say for example, I had a grievance in my family and I talked to someone that had a grievance, and they might end up telling you, they'll say, oh, I know how I felt, it was really, really bad for me, this is how you're going to feel. Whereas, like, for a gay person to talk to a straight person, like, I can't associate with them, and sometimes you might just want to offload, not necessarily hear someone else's story. So I think it might give them a chance to talk more individual on them.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, in the sense that, like, if I was gay and they were gay and they wanted to tell, like, oh, it was so bad for me coming out, and like, oh my God, wait till I tell you how bad it was for me coming out.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I can't make that association, so it's probably good in the sense to have that support from someone who's never lived in your shoes, or someone that doesn't have the same experience. And you might just want to offload. You mightn't necessarily want advice or an opinion on it.
And so the other part of the piece of the puzzle is this, like, the sexist and homophobic banter that boys use all the time and guys use, like the C word constantly and fag and don't be a homo and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you, like, I'm sure you've heard that since you were young and guys using it.
Even, those words were used even, like, out of context of within gays, like, then if someone stood a certain way, or if you did something, you'd like, oh, you'd hear, like, oh, what a fag hag, or like, look at that fag, or, you know what I mean? If someone had, like, not even gay, but just had more feminine aspects, like, I think those words are thrown around very much within society in general.
And why do you think it's so common in sport? Like, it seems particularly common, even, like, I think it was like 70% of the players at the Melbourne Unicorns, the guys, have used fag or puff in the past 2 weeks. They've also used sexist language in the past 2 weeks as well. Why do you think that's so common?
Well, I think it's a kind of more like banter amongst the boys.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I would be absolutely horrified if I heard on our team that can I ask you, was that the boys team?
Yeah, the boys.
Team or the straight team?
The boys, the boys straight team, like the Colts and the 18s.
Okay, I was like, but like, I would be absolutely horrified, like, if I heard amongst our camp, amongst our training, one of the girls turned around and made, like, a comment of, like, oh, you lesbo, or you gay, or, you know what I mean? As in, I think that would actually horrify me.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, I think within the boys, it's more of tough man syndrome, kind of big boy syndrome, like, kind of being the big boy amongst the team, like, or the funny boy.
Yeah. It's kind of normalized, like, it's a banter. They found it's kind of a way, it's almost like its own language in male sport. Like, it's like...
Yeah, and being, like, way deeper about all of that, you'd love to kind of delve into the real reason, but you'll never get that from players. But, as in, like, why feel the need to have to